Justin Bieber's controversial dreadlocks are back. Hey guys, welcome back to another shared news from home. We have got to talk about Justin Bieber's new hair, but before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I am your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. Mariah, there is a lot to unpack here, so let's just dive right in. Justin has decided to try out dreadlocks again. I say again because he has actually done this before, if you have forgotten. He showed off this look in a series of Instagram posts on Sunday. Then he posted another close-up of the dreadlocks on Monday. He's definitely been showing them off. This comes 5 years after he did this once before and was faced with a wave of accusations of cultural appropriation. This happened back in 2016. At the time, he seemingly responded to the backlash by posting a bit of a bizarre video on his Instagram captioned, "Being weird is fun. If you're not weird, I don't like you." Let's take a look at that clip from way back when.
Dude, are you gonna do anything with your hair? You're just gonna leave it like that, dude. Yeah, some girl came up to me and she was like, "I love you, Justin, but like, that's like my least favorite hairstyle of yours."
So, Mariah, this is like a different Justin. He's definitely shown, I think, a lot of growth over the last 5 years. This is the like troublemaker, kind of strange personality phase that I'm sure we're all very familiar with. He didn't apologize. He sort of made fun of the people criticizing the look, seemed to not really get it. He's definitely shown a lot of growth since then. He is sporting the hairstyle again, but what do you make of all of this? Clearly in 2016, he didn't get it. He didn't care.
Right. I feel like people at that age, you're obviously going to show some immaturity. We're not strangers to the fact that Justin Bieber used to be really immature. I mean, he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, especially back then. I feel like that was at the height of his, I don't know, just ticking people off phase in general. So I do feel like he's shown a lot of growth, a lot of maturity, emotional maturity over the years. And he's talked about it, like being a jerk kind of kid and how he is these days. But again, it's weird because here we are again these years later and he's sporting dreadlocks again. And obviously, he's aware of how people feel about it. So not sure what his reasoning is there.
Yeah, it's definitely odd. It feels like he either wasn't paying attention the first time around and just thought people didn't like the look, and he didn't care if people didn't think he liked the look, and now all these years later he wants to rock it again, and maybe the message will stick and break through this time. He's certainly getting the exact same response from fans that he did the last time around. They are making it very clear that they're not here for the look for multiple reasons. Some fans, just literally to highlight a few, commented on one of the Instagram posts, "This is not it." Another said, "I know you can do better." Another wrote, "It's really disappointing to see you with dreads. I thought you educated yourself." And it doesn't stop there. People were obviously leaving a lot of comments on the photos, but fans were so outraged they decided to take to Twitter and just tweet about it in general. One shared, "Justin Bieber has moved into a white people dreadlocks phase. I am indefinitely withdrawing my support for the pop singer until this misadventure concludes." Another person shared, "Justin needs to look into why dreadlocks are considered to be cultural appropriation. If he educated himself on this topic, he wouldn't be doing it." And this person added, "I didn't know there was this whole issue behind dreadlocks until Justin got it back in 2016, and people said it was cultural appropriation." Obviously, Justin himself is still thinking it's cool and hasn't realized. So that one I thought was really interesting because this is a fan of Justin's who the last time he made this mistake took a moment, stepped back, did some learning, and, educated themselves. It's just a shame that Justin didn't take those same steps in 2016. Like we were saying, from 2016 to 2021, we've all been really impressed with the growth he's shown. Do we think somewhere he's sitting down trying to figure out, okay, gotta get these out of my hair, looking at the comments, I'm listening to this, what can I do to fix it? Or is he keeping up that same attitude? How do we think he's going to respond?
I kind of get the vibe from him, and I always have. I mean, despite, yes, he has had years of growth, and I definitely want to acknowledge and celebrate that because he certainly needed it. But I kind of feel like he has the attitude of like, it's just a cool look, and I like it. I like it on me, and I want to wear it. And sure, if you think it's cool, that's your style, whatever. But you are a public figure, you're a big name, and a lot of eyes are on you. And unfortunately, if you want to have this lifestyle, you want to have this success, this fan base, you have to listen to your fan base. You have to listen to your audience. And if they're unhappy with choices you make, you need to respond to that in a way that's going to appease everybody. Because unfortunately, you did sign up to be in a position where everyone was going to cast their judgments on you. And if you want to be worthy of, that level of success, that level of fan base, then you do have to listen to your audience. So I'm hoping that he is like responsive in a good way. And he's just like, my bad. I just thought this was a cool look. I hear you guys though. Never would want to, rub anybody the wrong way, but we'll see. Again, it's like he has experienced so much growth, but it's like, don't you remember when this happened in 2016 and nobody was about it, and now nobody's about it still, and you just kind of like repeated things? So what's going on there?
Yeah, and a lot of fans are just calling out the fact that, like, it's about practicing what you preach, right? He's used his platform to amplify voices, to be a part of the social justice movement. Like, he really took a stand there, but it's like, okay, if you are listening, if you are doing the learning that you're saying you're doing and encouraging other people to do, then why would you make the same mistake you, in theory, made and grew from back in 2016? It just feels like it's kind of let a lot of people down who were, just pleased with sort of the strides he's shown in different phases of his life. So it's definitely I keep coming back to why. Why try this again? Of all the things you could try, you could dye your hair neon pink, you could cut it all off. Like, obviously Justin Bieber, I mean, if you think back to the Bieber cut, it was like a whole movement. For better or for worse, his hair is always going to be a part of the conversation. And it feels like, of course you can think something looks cool, you can want to take your image in a different direction. That's all within your right to be like, I want to change up my hair. But to change up your hair to something that obviously is controversial, and rightly so, it feels like it's intentionally making a statement. And I just can't understand why. Why now? Why make this statement? It feels like it was just opening a can of worms that somebody should have been able to tell him. I'm like, Haley, where were you? Somebody should have told him this isn't the look. This isn't it.
Well, and he has this huge group of friends who represent the groups or the voices that he has amplified, especially during this last year with the Black Lives Matter movement, who obviously could be in a place to tell him like, yo, this isn't it. We're not going to do this. You should have learned this lesson back then. But I almost feel like because they're friends of his and because he is who he is, and, they know him, they love him, maybe they have been like, I don't see the big deal. I don't know. Maybe it's different because they have a relationship with him. So they think he has permission, or they've given him permission. But the thing is they aren't his only audience. They are not the only people who are watching, and people who don't know him, they don't like it. And I'm sure people who do know him don't like it either. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't get why nobody would have advised him like, so this is probably not the best idea. We should probably not revisit this. Remember when you did it in 2016 and it wasn't a huge hit? We should not remake that mistake. So again, I just have to circle back to the why, being like, he just did it impulsively because he just wanted to, because he just thinks it's a cool look. And, sure. And back in the day, like early 90s, I think that didn't get as much heat. When white people sported dreadlocks, we've seen it in like movies. We definitely know people in pulp culture had rocked it. But now it's like people definitely are more so willing to voice their opinions on why that's wrong, and kind of explain why people shouldn't do that. So I just think, again, listen to your audience, listen to people. If it makes them uncomfortable, if they don't like it, if they think it's wrong, change it up.
Yeah, I'm with you. It seems like, honestly, like there are so many moments where, we talk a lot about like, it's not necessarily about canceling people for their mistakes. We just want people to be accountable, right? If you've made a mistake, understand it, process it, learn from it. Celebrities, people in the entertainment industry, they're not perfect. We clearly have been learning that more and more and more. But I really do think it's just about like, okay, I didn't know, or I should have known better. I made this mistake. Here's what people are saying. If it offends anybody, then why fight for it? That's the thing that I don't understand, right? If there are people who you are actively, offending, hurting, disappointing by doing something, I just don't understand the stubbornness of, well, I think I look great, so I'm just gonna keep going for it. So I'm really hoping that Justin, listens to the huge wave of people who have decided to make their voices heard on this, it is serious, but it also feels so silly at the same time. Issue of his hairstyle. And I hope we get, just some sort of a statement. He was let's face it, he was much younger. He was way less mature back in 2016. Clearly the learning lesson didn't happen then. I think if he simply changed his hair and made a note to fans saying, listen, I should have listened then. I didn't. I'm listening now. Let's all understand why this isn't right and grow from it. He could get people back on his side pretty quickly. Obviously, you guys, only time will tell. We don't know how long these dreads are sticking around. So we're going to have to keep our eyes on his Instagram, see where he goes from here, and see how fans continue to react, because they are definitely making their voices heard. We want to know what you guys think. Do you have a strong opinion on the Justin Bieber hair debacle? Let us know down in the comments. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. If you want to come say hi, our social handles are on the screen right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.